Angels podcast. This episode is The Courts Have Angels, Judge Anna Perez. My name is Julianna Fierro, and I'm the co-host of Speak because I know our guest pretty well.
Yes, and I'm Aaron Sutliff, the Division Chief of the Protective Order Unit at the El Paso County Attorney's Office. Phew, long title, right? This is one of those bring your mom to work episodes in which the guest's daughter asks the hard-hitting questions. So big reveal, Judge Perez is your mom, right? Is that true?
I think so.
You think so? Yeah, you're pretty sure about that.
I hope so.
I have an important preliminary question I need to know. Do you call her Judge at home?
Only when I need her legal advice. I've gotten in trouble a couple times where I've needed her, but...
She doesn't just call you by your government name or something like that?
No, she calls me Mamacita, and then I call her Mommy.
I like that. I like that. Hey, Juliana, this is the first time we've had you on the podcast, so you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a junior at Loretto. I like history. I like arts and crafts. I actually was doing a lot of arts and crafts today. I've been going to Loretto since pre-K 4, which has been a long time. I play sports. I love sports. I'm a big fan of sports. It's kind of forced upon me by my dad, but I do love sports.
But what sports?
I just recently started doing soccer, and I had a rough start. I was not that good. The only thing I was good at was running around, but I could not control the ball. But I started practicing more, and our season didn't come to fruition, but I'm hoping next year I'll be able to do it.
I think I know what you're talking about with the whole running and liking to kick, but not being very good at it. I'm thinking to myself, it was fun, but soccer wasn't my jam. Really.
I love team sports. I've always been on team sports, so I'm a big people person.
I could tell. I don't know you very well, but it's fun to talk with you. So,
thank you.
Anyway, Juliana, you want to get started? What do you think?
Yes, I would love to start.
Moving to El Paso in 1985, Judge Perez went to Hanks High School, UTEP for undergrad, and Texas Tech School of Law, like so many lawyers in El Paso. And after some time in private practice, Anna, I hope it's okay if I call her that for now, joined the El Paso County Attorney's Office. She rose to the level of Division Chief of the Litigation, Mental Health, and Family Violence section. And frankly, to me, that seems like it would have been plenty of work for like years and years to come. But Anna ran for and was elected to serve as a county commissioner in 2009. And that still wasn't enough of a challenge. So Anna then ran for and was elected to become judge for the 41st Judicial District Court of Texas, serving as a judge since 2013. And aside from being Juliana's mom, which is like a full-time job, I'm sure, Anna serves on the Council of Hispanic Lawyers section of the State Bar. She's the board chair of Emergence Health Network, a board member of El Pasoans Fighting Hunger, and chairs the Justice Leadership Council for the El Paso Health Foundation. She previously served on the boards of the El Paso Bar Association, the Mexican American Bar Association of El Paso, and various other committees and boards of local organizations. And fun fact, her husband is Art Fierro. Juliana, you know him, right? Distantly? He's the city
of El Paso. Vaguely, I've heard his name.
Vaguely, yeah. He's the El Paso city representative for District 6. Just clarify, how do you know him a little bit?
I think he's a friend of my mom's.
Just a friend. Okay, got it. We'll get to the bottom of that in a minute. Welcome, Judge.
Hi, thank you. It's Juliana's dad, just for the record.
Okay, yes. All right, we got to read that back on the court reporter's record. I like that.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us after a full day, I'm sure, running courts and doing all sorts of things.
No, it's my pleasure. It's my pleasure to do something special with my daughter like this. And right now we're at Loretto, so it makes it a little extra special. I don't get to roam the halls here very often. So it's just kind of good to be here.
We love Loretto. So I'm biased because I was over there a bunch doing mock trial stuff. But yeah, just such great energy over there. We talked with Nancy Tovar in the second episode. Just, yeah, really good energy over there.
Yes, we're very happy here. And Ms. Tovar is a great leader, a great principal. And And the girls are amazing women, amazing young ladies, amazing humans. And so we're very fortunate to be part of this family.
Juliana, this is your cue. You want to get started with the main part of the interview?
Yes. Okay, we can stop the chit chat now.
Okay,
I'm
got
ready
it.
to start my co-hosting duties. Here's my official first question for you, Mom. Who are you?
Well, Mr. Setliff read my resume, like everything I am on paper, everything I am as far as my job and my activities. Who I am, I think, is a lot of things. I'm a person who also grew up in a school like Loretto. I didn't go to Loretto, but it was a similar school in Chicago. And I think that was a big part of making me who I am. I'm a person of faith. I have great faith in God and God's guidance. And I certainly instill those values in everything we do at home, and I want you to do. I grew up as an only child, so I don't have siblings. And similar to you, you have older siblings that didn't really live in the household as you were growing up, but so I have that.
Hey, co-host, is it okay if I ask a follow-up question?
Yes.
Oh, she's very nice to her co-host. Judge, you talked about coming from Chicago to the borderland. Tell us a little bit about how that was.
Well, I can tell you it was a big culture change, culture shock, I would say. Now, I grew up in a household that spoke Spanish. I was bilingual, Spanish at home, English everywhere else. I grew up in a community that was multicultural. So I had Polish friends and Filipino friends and Italian friends. And so speaking a foreign language at home was very common. Mine happened to be Spanish. But when I moved to El Paso, it's the whole community was very Hispanic, very Latino, very, you got to pronounce your words correctly. So when I moved here, I found out I was mispronouncing my name. I wasn't Anna Perez, I was Ana Perez. I got spoken to in Spanish at all the stores, at the mall, at school, and that was very unusual to me that I would hear Spanish outside of the household. Like I said, I'm fluent. That was our main language at home, but to hear it outside of the household, it was on the radio, and then you have Spanglish. I never knew of Spanglish, where it was a combination of the languages. So yeah, it took some getting used to, and I apparently also had an accent, a Midwest accent. So
Uh-oh.
I would have that pointed out to me quite a bit by everyone, not just peers at school, but teachers and family. And I spoke funny. So that was another little tidbit of a change from moving from Chicago, urban Chicago. I lived in the city to El Paso, kind of a tight-knit community and very family oriented, and everybody knows everybody, and so it was different. It was different, but El Paso's home now. And so thinking of going back somewhere else to El Paso or to Chicago or anywhere else is really not in the cards for me.
One more follow-up. Is that okay, Juliana? Are you okay with that? Okay,
Yeah.
so I heard you, Judge, talk about your faith. And so I'd love to hear about how you navigate your faith in your position and just in life. People of faith walk a certain path in El Paso and everywhere, and but you also have to walk in the real world. And so I'm wondering how those get reconciled along the way.
Yeah, I agree. There are often times where I can't reconcile them, and I have a job description. I have to apply the law fairly. I have to apply it the way it's intended. But in it, I weave in my sense of justice, my sense of what is right and wrong, which is easily reconciled with the values that I was brought up with in faith, and lots of times my faith is what I turn to. It's not necessarily what I don't preach it. I don't push people to do things that they're not comfortable with or used to or know of or just don't want to do with regard to their own values and faith, but it's something that I turn to. for answers, for guidance, for when I'm afraid, when I'm confused, when I feel like my path is going a different direction. It's the right way because it's the legal way, or it's what the person, the people who are in my court need or want me to do. But it's some, I hit some glitches, and so as long as I'm having it in my heart, I think I'm always on the right path, together with my job and my core responsibilities and my values.
So now I would like to ask you our next official question. How have you helped girls and boys develop a healthy self-image?
Okay. So, I mean, my opportunity to influence young people, young boys and girls, which in my world are around your age, but maybe going through life with you at school, here at Loretto, small classes. So what that means is I had more access to a lot of the kids where I could talk to them. They knew who I was. I knew their parents. So I would have an opportunity to talk to your colleagues, to your friends. And I think that especially in an all-girls school, coming to a place where you're confident and where you can envision yourself succeeding despite all these feelings of I'm not good enough, or I'm not going to make it, or I'm confused. It feeds very badly here in a small school community. So what I do is I talk to them, I make them dream, I make them invent. Like, if you can picture it, you can do it. If it's something that interests you, you can do it. If it's something that you can talk about, you can do it. And I think it's important to listen. I think it's a very, when you teach me, I learn a lot from you, Juliana, on how to be a better parent. Unfortunately, young people don't come with manuals on how to do this or how to do that. So I learn from these young people on what basically what they want to say, and showing value on what they want to say. So I always say, you take care of yourself, you with behavior, with your goals, with your conduct here at school. Like I say, Juliana takes care of Juliana. And that's true for everybody. If we have to be self-accountable for all the great things and all the bad things. But I also say to use your voice. I love that young women speak up about politics or religion, or their goals, or things they disagree with on the news or whatever it might be. And I love hearing that, and I encourage it, because that will mean that when the time comes for you to say something that's important, you expect people to listen, and people should listen. And so that's how I do it, with a lot of conversation, with giving what people say a lot of value. I wish more adults treated young people that way. I think we'd get a little farther with listening, than always talking, always being the ones that talk.
Agree. Juliana, can I have one more follow-up? I know it's all about Erin's follow-ups today. I'm sorry. Can I have one more tiny one? Thank you, co-host. So, Judge, can you answer that question that Juliana asked you from the bench? Do you have occasion to positively affect the way that boys and girls develop a positive self-image?
So when I was doing criminal cases, I'll give you two examples. When I was doing criminal cases, that's probably the biggest example. What you get adjudicated as an adult at the age of 17. You're juniors and seniors sometimes. And then anywhere with those transitioning youth between the ages of 15, 16 through 24, the biology is very different. The chemistry in their brain is very different. And so I always try to be very mindful of the youth of the person in front of me. At the same time, when you talked about how do you reconcile your different parts? At the same time, these young people were in serious trouble because they were in a felony court. They were in front of a judge. They were facing criminal charges. And that's a game changer for any endeavor they had, things that are happening at home, all sorts of things that this situation affected. Now, varying degrees of trouble. It could be all the way to first degree, 5 to 99 years of life. It could be something as simple as possession of something. It could be something as simple as walking away from something that they shouldn't have. You got to kind of gauge that. And you also, another part of it is that their backgrounds. Where did they come from? Why are they standing in front of me? What is broken? What led them the wrong way? And so those are the kinds of things that I need to listen to make actual decisions about that person. So it's not just the pep talks, although I would encourage those pep talks, do well on probation, do well in school. I'll help you get this case dismissed if you do well in school, incentivize better behavior, better decisions. There's always those opportunities. And I didn't want to miss those opportunities because I've always felt like they're going to remember the day they were in court, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, into their adulthood. And I hope I've always wanted to make sure I had a positive impact. I'll be in Julianna's life forever, but with these young people, I only was in their lives a few minutes at a time over a course of a case. And so they needed to be impactful, and I needed to be mindful of that. And if they had a complaint about how they were treated at school, how their mom didn't understand, I was there to listen. I was there to hear it. Because guess what? It might be true. Guess what? They want to make a change. And so that's where I came in. You worry about yourself. You love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you're not going to get out of this mess, and no one's going to do it for you. So, those are the little pep talks that I try to have in the midst of probably their worst situation ever.
I think I understand, Juliana, why your mom's a judge and how long she's been a judge and been so successful at that work, don't you think? Hey, guess what? This is the fun part, Juliana. I get to turn the tables on you and ask you a question. So are you ready for it?
Yes.
Okay, here's the question. Please tell us about any challenges you've had developing a healthy self-image.
I'm not done developing, I think, my healthy self-image. I think that will take many, many more years to get to a healthy point. And just like most teenage girls and teenagers in general, I think a lot of us, especially girls, are very influenced by each other, about what boys say, about what just people in general are saying, even not even towards them, just towards maybe someone online. So I think it's hard for us as young people to develop a healthy self-image as quickly as we're expected to and as quickly as we would want to, because of just, I think, everyday life. And especially with the introduction of social media and how fast things are like sent from one person to another and how fast things spread now with social media, and then beyond your, I guess, social circle and school circle, it can go very far. I'm at a good point right now. I think previous to my my years, I've been much worse. And my mom's advice of just Juliana taking care of Juliana has really helped me. I think I just need to focus on, well, why does that pertain to me? What other people think? I just need to focus on what I'm doing. I need to focus on school. I need to focus on getting up on time for my AP tests or for my SAT that I have to take in June, which I'm not excited to wake up at 8 a.m. for. But I think healthy self-image takes time, just like anything else would.
There have to be at Loretto a couple of people that aren't well-spoken and really thoughtful and introspective, but I haven't found them yet because of all the great co-hosts speak so eloquently, like you just did.
Oh my goodness, thank you. I didn't think that was going to be as smooth. So that didn't sound smooth in my head.
It was very smooth. You want to go on to the last question that we have for you and your mom?
Yes. Here is our last official question. I'm going to answer this one first, then ask you, Mom. If you could wave a magic wand, how would you help all girls and boys as they grow up to participate in healthy relationships? I think just standing up for yourself. Doesn't matter who you're standing up to. If you have a moral issue with something someone says, even if it's something as little as somebody cussing or as big as an adult disrespecting you, I think you need to just speak up for yourself. I think a lot of young people, especially, have an issue with standing up for themselves because our parents have instilled, like, you need to be respectful. Like, you need to respect this teacher. It doesn't matter what they do. And I don't think that's true. I think if, obviously, you have to be polite. You cannot cuss somebody out just randomly. But if somebody's disrespecting you, especially someone who should be on your side and should be there to help you, is disrespecting you or purposely doing something to hurt you, I think you should stand up for yourself and say, this isn't right, and I need someone to fix this, or I need you to fix this.
Judge, do you have a magic wand that you would wave?
Yes. So mine is very simple. And if I find that magic wand, I'm going to be very happy. But one of the things that I think young people struggle with, and it starts very young, and unfortunately, I tell Julianna that it goes into adulthood, is being kind to each other. You know, we see those T-shirts and mugs that say "Be kind, be kind, be kind." Well, I think that's very meaningful. And if I could wave a magic wand and have everyone be kind to each other by not saying hurtful things, not bullying, being helpful when someone's down, understanding that, you know, people have a hard time, are having a hard time, and not ignoring them or excluding them. You know, there's a problem with social exclusion and amongst circles of friends. And if we were more sensitive to how other people felt, on how we treated them, what we said to them, all the way through adulthood, when you have adults that do nonsense like that, young women that do things like that to each other, you're supposed to grow up to support each other and all those things. And sometimes it doesn't happen. I think things roll off of the backs of boys a little easier, but they're subject to unkindness as well. So if I could wave a magic wand and make everyone kind to each other, respectful, kind, I would. That's what I think would change the world across the board.
I've been promising throughout the episodes that I'm writing down the wands that people come up with, so that I've got 2 new wands that will add to the mix. And, you know, if we don't envision it, it can never happen. It might never happen. So that's why I asked that question. And, you know, we come up with a manifesto for Jennifer's Angels. Maybe we'll have a step forward in the future. But
Mother, you should say your favorite quote by Dolly Parton.
Okay, I like it.
Well, Dolly Parton to me is like a mentor on kindness. She is the queen of kind. And she always said that she didn't want to be known as the person who didn't say hello or those things. So because of her quote, like, you always say hello, doesn't matter. She says it doesn't matter if you say it back. I think it's something that's taught, but she's, I don't care if you say it back. As long as I say good morning to you, maybe I made your day. Maybe I changed your day. Maybe I made it a little bit nicer for you today when you're having a hard time, that somebody said, hello, how are you? And smiled. So that's my mantra when I walk through the halls.
Julianna, thank you for that question. So now we have St. Dolly's recommended her magic wand also. So that's
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, Dolly Parton.
We are big Dolly Parton fans.
Who isn't, right? You can't trust someone done like Dolly.
Crazy
right?
people aren't.
Judge, it's been really fun to talk with you. I had the pleasure of serving in your courtroom for a couple of years, and I experienced directly your measured judicial temperament, your precise decision-making, and the leadership that you exercised amongst your peers. And I know in a community like ours, in which reputation is the key to success, yours is one of honesty and effectiveness and kindness. So I really appreciate you coming on this podcast.
Thank you. This was a great opportunity to be part of something so important. This program, Jennifer Ann's group, is just making great changes amongst young people, putting out a message of self-love, self-respect, kindness, and safety. And to have done it with my own daughter made it extra special. So thank you so much.
Before we get to this week's Teacher hot tip. I am excited to let you know about a new financial supporter of Jennifer's Angels. This season, the Center Against Sexual and Family Violence, CASFI for short, joins Jennifer Ann's group in funding this podcast, serving survivors of violence in the El Paso, Culberson, and Hudspeth counties. CASFI ranks as the largest domestic violence shelter and resource center along the U.S.-Mexico border. Consider heading to casfi.org, Facebook, or Instagram to learn more about CASFI.
Alrighty. Well, hello. I am Sara Behrens. I am an English teacher at Eastwood High School. I'm wrapping up my 26th year teaching, which blows my mind. But I'm here to share a little bit of advice and some tips about how your English class can kind of play a role in developing a nice positive image and to help build positive, healthy relationships. All right, so when people think about high school English class, they usually think about essays. Some people like those, some not. Grammar, one of my faves, but again, not a fave of many students. And then books that you are supposed to be reading, but maybe you're not fully engaged or paying attention or, whatever it might be. But English class can also teach some really important life skills, especially when it comes to self-image and relationships. So think about it. In English, you spend a lot of time analyzing characters, why they act the way they do, what motivates them, what they're afraid of, and how their experiences shape them. And over time, that starts helping you understand yourself too. For example, I tend to wrap up my year. I teach junior English. We tend to wrap up the year by reading Tennessee Williams' A Streetcar Named Desire. And sometimes people outside, the school environment are like, really? But it's a play that is important, I think, to teach every year because it does lead to a lot of reflection and questions regarding self-image and healthy relationships. The very first year I taught it here at Eastwood, I actually had a few anonymous notes left behind on my desk saying they were grateful this was a piece we were reading because it was opening some eyes and ears of classmates that they knew maybe needed to hear some of the messages that were coming from diving into and analyzing the play. But it doesn't always have to be that heavy. It can be, different types of texts that you're reading. And they can help you realize things on just kind of a more, day-to-day level, like you're not lazy. Maybe you're connecting with a character and you see that instead of labeling yourself in a negative way, like I'm lazy, I can't do X, Y, or Z, that no, maybe you're just feeling overwhelmed or you just haven't found the right way to get into a particular topic or subject to better understand it. And engaging with the reading and with sharing your thoughts is a way to start to articulate those ideas. And so that helps you to build that self-awareness, which truly matters. English classes also definitely teach empathy. Every book, poem, or story we read asks you to step into someone else's perspective for a little while. So you practice understanding people whose lives, beliefs, struggles, or backgrounds are different from yours, which is a huge relationship skill. Healthy relationships depend on being able to listen, understand, and communicate, not just react, which is sometimes the easiest thing to immediately kind of run toward is just reacting. But again, if you kind of slow down and think about some of the skills you've picked up in your English class, you can hopefully learn to communicate in more effective, healthy ways. And speaking of communication, English class constantly teaches you how to express your thoughts clearly, how to disagree respectfully, how to support your ideas, how to explain yourself without immediately getting defensive. And those are all skills that will matter way beyond school. Because a lot of unhealthy relationships, friendships, dating relationships, even family conflicts fall apart because people don't know how to communicate honestly or calmly. English also teaches you to critically think about the messages you consume every day. One thing I teach with my AP English students is rhetorical analysis, a fancy way of just saying you learn how to analyze messages coming at you from every angle, right? Anything you engage with tends to be some kind of message. And so you start to interrogate those messages. Who's benefiting from this? Is this true? Or am I being manipulated? Are there some assumptions being pushed on to the audience here? And what can I do about that? And that definitely comes into play, especially in a world full of social media, comparisons that we like to make when we scroll through social media, thinking about unrealistic beauty standards, toxic relationship advice disguised as content. And maybe one of the most important lessons English classes can teach us is that your first draft is not your final draft. You revise, you improve, you grow. That applies to people too. One bad grade doesn't define you. One awkward phase doesn't define you. One failed friendship or breakup does not define you either. You're still developing. Everybody is. And at the end of the day, English class is really about understanding stories. And eventually you realize that includes the story you tell yourself about who you are. And learning to tell yourself a healthier, more honest story is probably one of the, if not the most important skills that you will ever learn.
Hey, Julianna, anything you want to add?
Yes. Special thanks to Jennifer Ann's group for supporting this project. Want to know more about the amazing teen dating violence prevention work that Jennifer Ann's group does? Head to jenniferann.org to find out more and then follow them on Facebook and Instagram.